Welcome back to Celebrity Radio. It's Alex Belfield talking to some of the country's biggest stars and some of my favourite people, and we've got one for you today. Eliza Carthy is one of the biggest names in folk music ever. She, of course, has just released the new album, Big Machine. Along with the Wayward Band, it was only natural they were going to release this album, and the new single, Hug You Like a Mountain, is a glorious new single featuring Teddy Thompson. And I'm delighted to say Eliza joins us on the phone now. How are you doing?
I'm all right, thanks, Alex. How are you?
Do you know, I'm delicious, but not as good as you, because there's nothing better than being credible, is there? You're respected and loved. You can't buy that.
Yeah, well, maybe respected more than loved, I don't know. Or maybe loved more than respected. Either would be fine.
Well, I guess for you, it doesn't matter about anything other than playing live. I mean, you're a live artist that just happens to have done incredibly well. For you, the music is king, isn't it?
Very much so. I absolutely love playing live. It's one of my favourite things, you know. And the thing is, when you're a touring musician, you pretty much spend most of your life waiting to do that thing that you love. And I always say I do the music bit for free. It's the travel and the sitting around in airports and all that nonsense, the waiting to do it, that I get paid for.
Was there a point when you realised you'd sort of been hoist by your own petard? Instead of being in Whitby playing in a beautiful pub, you were having to sit and spend longer in the car getting to the next venue?
Do you know what? I mean, I grew up playing in pubs, so I was when I left the pubs, I was ready to go. I have to say, I was ready to be on stages. I grew up, you know, sitting under pub tables while my parents were playing away, and I'm still there now. I love playing. I love playing everywhere. But being a folk singer, you know, you get to play everywhere as it is. So one day we can be playing in a pub, next day we can playing in the Albert Hall. You know, that's one of the great things about this particular job, is that it's so varied.
And what I love about what you do, it's not pop music. It's not trying to be popular. Therefore, it can't go out of fashion. That's a very clever move, isn't it?
It's the oldest independent music in the world. I think it's the last underground scene. And in some ways we're proud of being underground. You know, it means we don't have to play games for anybody. We can just be, you know, we can just be ourselves. And sometimes that works really well. And like, you know, the last couple of weeks we entered the charts at number 25, which has never done that before. And then sometimes it doesn't work so well, and you know, you've got a few months off. Your children remember your names. I
guess the thing about your audience is they'll forgive you for anything because they just want to be in your presence and listen to you do what you do. There aren't many genres of music where they'll do that. They give you liberties, don't they, the folk audience?
To a certain extent, they do. I think if they thought I was taking the piss, that they would definitely say something. You know, in fact, I know that having been at this for sort of 25 years now, I do know that one of the great things about folk music is that your audience does have access to you. You know, I chat to them all the time. I do my own Twitter and my own Facebook and all of those kind of things. And I, you know, I've got a rapport going with a lot of them. On the flip side of that, it's like when I was signed to Warner Brothers Records back in 2001, after I came out of that record deal and I sort of came, if you like, back to the folk scene, there's quite a few people had some choice things to say to me about what they thought I'd been up to, and, well, we're glad you're back kind of thing. Right. So, you know, I mean, so there's upsides and downsides to it. Personally, I love talking to people because you can always learn something from them. You know, and at the end of the day, folk music is about people. That's what it's about. So it's, you know, you can't hide behind a glass wall. There's no point in that.
I always think that's the unfortunate thing about what we do. We need the general public, but they will tell you what they think, good and bad.
They will have their own opinions, won't they? Cheeky little devils.
When was the moment you knew you'd made it? I mean, you come from a family of musicians, and I suppose in their eyes, just to be musical was a thrill for them. But when was the moment you thought, oh, I'm now professional, I'm not doing bad at this?
I don't think there's ever a moment as a folk musician that you think that. It's just constant. It's a constant journey, if you like, and you're always getting better. I never do the same thing twice, you know. So in addition to my audience, I do require a lot from my audience. I don't repeat myself. I don't like the best of tour that I did in 2013 was the first time I'd ever even like some of the songs that I was playing with, like 20 from albums 20 odd years ago, and we'd literally played them on 2 tours that were promoting that album, and then we'd moved on. I always like to try new things. So I do ask a lot from them, but I'm also asking a lot from myself in that sense, because you never settle. You know, you never reach that moment where you think, yes, this is definitely it. I am now playing the Albert Hall, and I am the best of everything. Because the following day you'll be back in the pub again, and you might drop your fiddle and not know a tune. And
you wouldn't believe the amount of times I've dropped my fiddle. The awards you've been given are remarkable and plentiful. I guess that your mantelpiece is rather busy with these. Do they matter to you, or are they just a byproduct of doing what you do?
Funnily enough, I mean, aside from the MIBA, aside from the MBE, most of them were quite a long time ago now. So I think, I don't know, maybe I was a novelty for a while. I mean, I do get nominated, it's true. I do get nominated for a lot of things. But one of the things about folk music is that we like to support new artists coming through all the time. So there've been lots of occasions where I've been really happy to stand back and watch someone, receive an award that I might have wanted. There have been loads of times when I've been happy to see that, because it's all about widening the pool, about widening the pool of people, widening the pool of songs, widening, making more chances, more stages, more opportunities. It's important to let new people have a go. So, but it was very. I mean, I've got 2 Mercury Awards, I guess, and maybe 6 or 7 folk awards now. And the old mantelpiece is groaning, and I'm very happy about that. The MBE was also quite a thing. I enjoyed that. I was very ill the day that I got it, actually. I had my manager on one side and my dad on the other side, kind of marching me up to the
carrier bag in the middle.
Palace. Yeah, I'm going to get it. I don't care what it takes.
Yeah. What a thrill, though. I mean, so few people get to enjoy that. And I suppose one of the greatest thrills as a performer is when the BBC come knocking on your door. I mean, they've done an awful lot for folk music, both at Radio 2 and BBC Music generally. That's got to help. They have moved it to a new level, if nothing else, given it a voice on radio and TV.
Yes, I think all the various local radio stations that have folk music programmes have really done a lot for the genre as well. And there's also things like BBC Alba, BBC Scotland, the folk music coverage on those is very, very good. The BBC in general, the world music, the World Service, and Radio 3, Radio 2, even Radio 4 to a certain extent. I've done some presenting on Radio 4. Everybody is very, very supportive of folk music and marginalised music, if you like. They do give us a voice. The Radio 2 Folk Awards provide a great gateway, if you like, to the folk scene. It's certainly not, all of the amazing individual stuff that you'd like to see, but it certainly provides a way in through the kind of acoustic, the roots in acoustic music that they cover. It certainly provides a way into the folk scene through that, and I think we would really struggle without it. Our musicians travel all over the world now. We headline festivals. The big marquee names on the folk scene regularly break into the charts now, and I think, and it's certainly in the 80s and 90s that seemed like a pipe dream. It didn't seem like that was ever going to happen again after the heyday of big bands like Fairport Convention and Steel Ice Band. People like that were making the charts in the 60s. It didn't seem that was going to be possible again, and it really is possible. We do it all the time, and we're able to have a voice about our traditional music in a way that's not been possible for a long time. I'm personally very grateful to the BBC for that.
Is Whitby still a hub for folk music? Is it still as vibrant as it was? Because I spent many evenings up in those pubs just sat there listening to a man or a woman with a piano or a guitar and doing what they do. It is a wonderful place for that. Is it still happening up there?
Yeah, very much so. Whitby has a World Music Festival and a folk festival. I'm the patron of the Whitby Folk Festival. It also has several music festivals. Also, Robin Hood's Bay, the village where I come from, where I live, that has not only the Victorian weekend but also a folk festival of its own. There's a great wealth of music in the area. It's there's folk clubs going on in our area almost every night of the week, I think.
Fantastic.
So you can go and listen to sessions. The pub at the end of our road, the Grosvenor in Robin Hood's Bay, has live music sessions all the time. And we've just started up a folk session in there when Musicport happened at the end of October. We had a band over from Dublin called Lynched who came over and set up in the bar, and we all sat there and had tunes. I think we were there for 7 hours or something. It was great. It's like big jugs of beer and plates of sandwiches, and we just went for it, And then likewise, there's also Norma Fest, which I run for my family, and that goes on over 2 days, first weekend in January. And again, the Grosvenor hosted loads and loads of brilliant sessions over the weekend. There was lots of stuff going on in the town. It's just, it's a happening town as far as music's concerned.
And a beautiful really, one too.
Very, very heartening to see, and of course it is very, very beautiful. And it's a lot healthier than it was when, certainly in the 1980s when I was a child, it was very, very, very run down, very depressed area. All the fishing had gone and everything, and I think people really wondered what was going to happen to a town like Whitby, and it's really pulled itself up. It's looking really good these days.
When I look at what you guys do, whether it be in pubs or on stage, you seem the least affected by show business, and it seems sort of the least glamorous part of it. You're not interested in whizzes and bangs and big light shows and smoke machines and all that. It is purely the music. Is that deliberate, or are you just being incredibly humble?
I think it's a bit of both. I mean, I love a show. Certainly the Wayward Band, I suppose, are the flashiest band that I've ever been in. We've got a look and all that. We all wear white. I've got a costume essentially that I wear. There's a style element to it. But I think one of the great things about folk music is it can encompass all of the approaches. I love nothing better than to sit next to somebody around a fire and have them just sing me a song, even without a guitar, with nothing, just sing. Just open their mouth and something comes out, tell me a story. I love nothing better than that. But at the same time, I love seeing bands like Treacherous Orchestras, another sort of 11, 12-piece band from Scotland, who get up and they have the big light shows, and there's 4 pipers going at once, and drummers and techno and all sorts. I love that. And I love the fact that folk music can encompass all of those things. For me, I think growing up in a family band, the thing about your family is that they can tell when you're not being genuine. Right. When you're with a family, when your parents are looking at you and you're looking at them, I think you could tell. And the thing about some of them big things that are just celebrity for celebrity's sake, I don't think folk music accommodates that very well, because I think people can tell. It's
probably the most sincere of all mediums, really, isn't it?
Yeah, you've got to be real. You have to be real. It's people's stories. You can't mess around with people's stories.
Having said that, did you ever sip champagne with Jerry Springer?
Yes, I did.
Good Lord.
Yes, I did. Although, I do have to be completely honest with you, I just happened to be in the same room.
We've all been there.
I was invited to the premiere of Jerry Springer the Opera.
Oh, were you?
Which was written by my friend Stuart Lee.
Yeah.
And he invited me to the premiere, and there was a reception and an after-show party, during which time I did indeed sip champagne in the proximity of Jerry Springer.
Well, in which case we both sipped champagne in the same room too, because I was there that night as well.
No way! Yeah. There you go.
Small world, isn't it?
Quite a night.
Can't get away with anything, can you, these days?
Did you nick the toilet paper as well?
Shh, don't talk about that. Listen, it's really lovely to talk to you. Eliza Carthy's new album is out now, and of course the single Hug You Like a Mountain featuring Teddy Thompson is just glorious, as is all your stuff. You can find you online. Just put in Eliza Carthy and it will come up there. Thank you so much for your time. It's been a delight talking to you.
Cheers, Alex. Thank you.